Stop scrolling. Take a breath. Because what I'm about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding across America. What if I told you that inside ordinary drawers, old jars, and forgotten coin collections are Kennedy half-dollar silver second-place metal coins that could be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars today? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Kennedy half-dollar silver coins, featuring iconic designs, powerful American history, and shocking hidden treasures. In this video, we'll explore the top 12 most valuable, expensive, and ultra-rare U.S. Kennedy half-dollar coins ever discovered. From rare P, D, and S mint marks to silver compositions, unique color tones, proof issues, and dramatic mint errors, these coins are highly sought after by collectors and investors worldwide. Even coins that look dirty, worn, or completely ordinary could secretly be worth big money. So before you spend that old half-dollar, stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Let's get started. First up, 1. The 1985 Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most misunderstood coins in American history, a coin that millions have touched yet almost no one has truly seen. At first glance it feels ordinary, heavy in the hand but silent in meaning, the kind of coin people throw into drawers or spend without hesitation. And yet history often hides its most powerful secrets inside objects everyone believes are worthless. This is not a story about what the coin looks like, but about what it survived. By 1985, the Kennedy half-dollar had quietly fallen out of daily use. Americans no longer wanted half-dollars, and that rejection changed everything. When a coin stops being loved, it stops being watched. Production continued, but attention disappeared. In that silence, mistakes were born. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the absence of a mint letter, struck enormous numbers of coins under pressure, speed, and fatigue. Coins were made fast, not carefully, and speed is the birthplace of errors. Many people believe the 1985 Kennedy half-dollar must be silver to be valuable, and that belief alone has caused countless rare pieces to be lost forever. Value is not created only by metal. It is created by moments when the mint process breaks its own rules. A coin can be clad on paper yet extraordinary in reality if it carries an error, a wrong strike, a doubled image, a misaligned die, or evidence of a planchet that never should have been there. These things are invisible to people who only look for shine. Dirty coins tell the most dangerous stories. A darkened, stained, or ugly Kennedy half-dollar scares people, so they clean it, polish it, or discard it. That single mistake has destroyed more value than time ever could. Dirt does not kill a coin. Cleaning does. Grime protects detail, preserves untouched surfaces, and hides secrets until the right eyes see them. Some of the most valuable modern coins look terrible to beginners and priceless to experts. The legend of overnight wealth did not come from fantasy. It came from moments when a single confirmed mint error rewrote the value of an otherwise ignored coin. These are rare, but they are real. Not millions of people become rich, but one person who did not spend the coin too fast changes their life forever. The danger is not that these coins are fake. The danger is that most people never stop long enough to ask questions. The absence of a mint mark on the 1985 Kennedy half-dollar is not a weakness. It is a signature of origin. Philadelphia was the heart of U.S. coin production, and when something unusual happened there, it often traveled unnoticed into circulation. Coins from this mint were trusted automatically, which meant fewer inspections and more opportunities for anomalies to escape. History also matters. The Kennedy half-dollar carries emotional weight no other modern coin can match. Collectors do not just buy metal, they buy stories. When emotion meets rarity, prices behave irrationally. That is why coins tied to powerful moments in history can explode in value once something unique is confirmed. The coin becomes more than currency. It becomes a witness. The most dangerous thing you can do with a 1985 Kennedy half-dollar is rush. Spending it too quickly ends every possibility. Scrubbing it removes its identity. The smartest move is patience. Let the coin remain exactly as it is. Time does not erase value. Ignorance does. Every mark, every shadow, every imperfection could be evidence of something that was never supposed to exist. This is why the 1985 Kennedy half-dollar refuses to be dismissed. Not because every coin is rare, and not because every coin is silver, but because history is messy. Machines fail. Humans rush. Records miss details. And in those gaps, fortune sometimes hides. Not promised, not guaranteed, but possible. And possibility is power. If you have one of these coins, the question is not, how much is it worth today? The question is, what story does it carry that no one has bothered to read yet? Next up. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a piece of metal. At first glance, it looks ordinary, a coin you might find in a drawer or a jar of forgotten change. But history has a way of hiding extraordinary stories in the most common places, and this coin is no exception. Unlike other years, the 1974 half-dollar carries the weight of a turbulent era in America, bridging the country's post-Vietnam uncertainty with a society in search of icons. To the untrained eye, it is a simple Kennedy half-dollar. To those who know, it is a fragment of history frozen in silver, a relic with secrets embedded in its surface. In 1974, the United States Mint faced a flood of coins to produce, and the pressure to meet quotas was immense. The Kennedy half-dollar, already a popular collectible, continued to be struck in massive numbers. Yet, even in high production, errors and rare anomalies slipped through. These coins, with no mint mark indicating their origin from Philadelphia, carried subtle differences, variations in strike, die cracks, and surface imperfections that only experts can see. Each imperfection tells a story, a moment when human hands and machine work intersected in unpredictability, creating a coin that might someday be worth far beyond its face value. The silver content of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar adds another layer to its intrigue. Though most half-dollars by this time were clad, a few special editions retained high-quality finishes, appealing to collectors who understood that value is not just about the metal itself but about rarity, condition, and historical significance. A coin's worth is written in the combination of all these factors, and when overlooked coins like this remain hidden in jars or drawers, their potential skyrockets. A coin that sits dirty and unpolished is often more valuable than a shiny, circulated coin, because untouched surfaces preserve every minute detail of its origin. What makes the 1974 half-dollar truly fascinating is its context in history. The coin carries the legacy of John F. Kennedy, an emblem of American leadership and resilience. Collectors do not merely collect coins. They collect memory, symbolism, and a tangible connection to the past. Every Kennedy half-dollar, especially one from a year like 1974, is an artifact. The coin may have changed hands hundreds of times, but each scratch, discoloration, and minting quirk only adds to its narrative. A coin in poor or dirty condition is not worthless. It may harbor rare features invisible to casual observers. Many people underestimate coins simply because they appear ordinary. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar demonstrates how hidden value works in the world of collectibles. While the market for everyday coins is modest, certain examples with anomalies or special characteristics have sold for astonishing amounts. One unremarkable coin in a jar could, in fact, be a rare variant worth tens of thousands if not more, because scarcity and history always amplify value. The coin itself is a quiet testament to patience, observation, and the thrill of discovery. Handling these coins improperly can destroy potential. Cleaning a coin, rubbing off grime, or careless polishing can erase die details and reduce value irrevocably. The dirty or naturally aged half-dollar is more than an eyesore. It is a protected record, a coin's authentic life preserved. Experts can read these signs, spotting minute errors, die shifts, or misstrikes that transform a simple coin into a collector's treasure. History itself is embossed in every ridge, every worn edge, every subtle change in tone and texture. The true magic of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is in its combination of history, rarity, and human story. It is not just a coin minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark. It is a narrative piece. The moment it left the mint, it joined the circulation of everyday America, passing through countless hands, witnessing ordinary lives, yet quietly retaining the potential for extraordinary significance. It reminds us that value is not always apparent at first glance. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eye to notice it. Ultimately, owning one of these coins is about more than financial gain. It is about connection, to the Kennedy legacy, to the craft of coin-making, to the hidden layers of history that ordinary objects can carry. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar embodies the tension between the common and the rare, the everyday and the extraordinary. It is a coin that tells a story of a nation, a mint, and a moment in time when even something as small as a half-dollar could hold unimaginable potential. So, if you happen to possess a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, untouched and quietly sitting in a drawer, consider it carefully. Do not rush to spend it, do not clean it hastily, and do not underestimate it. Every crease, every speck of dirt, every slight imperfection could be the key to unlocking a value far beyond its face. This coin is not just currency. It is history, mystery, and opportunity in a single silver circle. The lesson here is simple but powerful. The world of coins rewards the patient, the observant, and the knowledgeable. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar may look unassuming, but for those who understand its story, its origins, and its hidden anomalies, it is a gateway to possibility. History and rarity have a way of turning what is ordinary into something truly extraordinary. And in this quiet silver coin, the past whispers, "Look closer. I am worth more than you think." Next up, the 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar may seem like a simple coin at first glance, but looks can be deceiving. On the surface, it appears ordinary, just another piece of change circulating quietly across America. Yet for collectors and coin enthusiasts, this small silver disc hides a world of history, intrigue, and immense potential value. From its intricate design to the subtle marks left by the mint, the 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar is a bridge between everyday currency and extraordinary rarity. The Kennedy half-dollar itself carries the legacy of John F. Kennedy, a symbol of hope, resilience, and American pride. Since its introduction in 1964, the coin has been more than currency. It has been a tangible piece of history. Each half-dollar struck at the Denver Mint in 1984 carries a D mint mark, but even among these coins, certain pieces are rarer than others. The difference often lies in small variations that most people overlook, variations that can turn a common coin into a treasure worth thousands. Silver plays a key role in the story of this coin. While by 1984 the Kennedy half-dollars were no longer made from 90% silver as in earlier years, they retained a beautiful metallic finish and collectible appeal. Certain uncirculated or specially preserved coins, particularly those that escape pockets, drawers, and cash registers, hold value far beyond their face. A half-dollar with its original luster, even if slightly dirty or aged naturally, can be a goldmine for collectors who know what to look for. The Denver Mint produced millions of these coins in 1984, yet hidden among the mass were subtle errors and unique features. A die crack here, a doubled edge there, or slight misalignments. All of these can create coins that are considered rare by the coin collecting community. It's in these tiny imperfections that value emerges. What appears to be an ordinary coin to most can be a once-in-a-lifetime find to someone who knows the market. The journey of a 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar often begins unnoticed. It sits in change jars, in drawers, or perhaps tucked away in old coin collections, often overlooked for decades. Its dirty, worn surface may seem unappealing, yet this is precisely what makes some examples more valuable. Unpolished, untouched coins preserve their original markings and subtle mint characteristics that polished or cleaned coins often lose. A naturally aged half-dollar is a living record of history. Understanding its worth requires more than just glancing at the coin. Experts study the mint mark, the weight, the thickness, and the subtle surface details. Each coin is unique, even among millions struck in the same year. Collectors hunt for high-grade examples, uncirculated coins, and rare varieties. These coins, in the right hands, can sell for astonishing sums, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of thousands, transforming a simple half-dollar into an object of extraordinary financial and historical value. The historical context of 1984 adds another layer to this coin story. The United States was navigating economic shifts, cultural changes, and political movements. Coins from this era are not just pieces of metal. They are artifacts of the time, reflecting both the artistry of the mint and the society that used them. The Kennedy half-dollar, bearing the president's profile, became a quiet witness to history, circulating through pockets while silently holding its value. Collectors often underestimate the importance of condition. A 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar that appears dirty may actually be more desirable than one that has been aggressively polished. Every speck of natural tarnish, every light scratch, tells a story and preserves the authenticity of the coin. These subtle characteristics are what experts look for when valuing coins, and they can turn a seemingly average coin into a collector's dream. The thrill of discovery adds to the coin's allure. Imagine opening a box of old change and finding a 1984 D half-dollar that has remained untouched for decades. To most people, it is a small, inconsequential coin. To a collector, it is a potential key to wealth and a tangible link to history. Its value is hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize its significance. Owning a 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar is about more than money. It is about holding a piece of the past, a moment in time, and a symbol of an iconic figure. Each coin carries stories of the mint workers, of the millions of Americans who spent them, and of the small errors that make some coins extraordinary. It is a reminder that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it lies in the details, the history, and the rarity. The market for Kennedy half-dollars is alive and competitive. Prices for rare and well-preserved 1984 D examples can soar, especially for coins that retain their original luster or have unique minting errors. This coin demonstrates the fascinating intersection of history, scarcity, and human interest, proving that even coins struck decades ago can still surprise and captivate. Finally, the 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar teaches an important lesson. Do not judge a coin by its appearance alone. Even a small, dirty coin can hold unimaginable potential, especially if it preserves its original features and historical authenticity. Every ridge, every mark, every tarnished corner tells a story and could be the key to a fortune. For those who look closely, understand the market, and value history, this coin is far more than metal. It is an opportunity, a legacy, and a treasure waiting to be recognized. Next up, the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most misunderstood coins in American history, a coin that millions of people have held in their hands without ever realizing what they were touching. At first glance, it looks ordinary, almost boring, just another half-dollar from the early 1970s. But behind that calm silver-colored surface is a story of transition, loss, rarity, and quiet power. This coin was born during a turning point in U.S. coinage, when America was slowly moving away from silver, and that moment in history alone makes the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar far more important than most people believe. To understand this coin, you must understand what the Kennedy half-dollar represents. Introduced after the shocking assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the coin became a national symbol of grief, unity, and remembrance. By 1971, that emotional connection was still strong. People hoarded Kennedy halves, saved them in drawers, tucked them into envelopes, and hid them away as keepsakes rather than spending them. This behavior alone created unusual survival patterns, meaning some coins stayed untouched while others were heavily circulated, creating massive differences in condition and value today. The D mint mark on the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility known for high-speed production and bold strikes. Millions were made, yes, but quantity does not equal sameness. Every coin left the press slightly different. Some received stronger strikes, some weaker. Some were struck from fresh dies, others from worn dies. These differences matter enormously to collectors today, because value is not created by age alone, but by uniqueness hidden within mass production. Now comes the shocking part that most people never talk about. Although 1971 Kennedy half-dollars were officially struck without silver for circulation, not every coin followed the rules perfectly. Transitional issues, planchet anomalies, and mint errors exist, and these are where the unimaginable values begin to appear. Coins struck on the wrong metal, coins with missing layers, coins with unusual weight or color, these are not myths. They are rare survivors of a complex minting process, and when authenticated, they can sell for staggering amounts. The condition of the coin is where most people make the biggest mistake. A dirty, dark, naturally aged 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar can actually be more valuable than a shiny, cleaned one. Cleaning destroys originality, and originality is everything in the collector world. Natural toning, deep gray color, even uneven surfaces can indicate a coin that has never been altered. That untouched surface preserves the coin's true history, and experts pay a premium for that honesty. What truly separates ordinary coins from extraordinary ones is the presence of minting errors. On some 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars, you can find double details, especially in the lettering or Kennedy's profile. On others, you may see die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or weak edge reading. These errors were not intentional, but they are exactly what collectors hunt for. A small mistake at the mint can turn a 50-cent coin into a life-changing discovery. The market value of these coins is not driven by hype alone, but by demand, scarcity, and condition. High-grade uncirculated 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars with strong strikes and original surfaces command serious money. Error coins from this year, especially those verified by professional grading services, have sold for tens of thousands and more. While not every coin is worth millions, the possibility exists, and that possibility is why you should never rush to sell or spend one without proper evaluation. History adds another powerful layer to this coin. The early 1970s were a time of economic uncertainty in the United States. Inflation was rising, silver was disappearing from everyday money, and Americans were losing trust in coinage that no longer contained precious metal. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar sits right in the middle of that shift. It represents the end of one era and the beginning of another, making it historically significant beyond its face value. What makes this coin dangerous to underestimate is how easily it blends in. It looks like pocket change. Feels ordinary. That is why so many valuable examples have been lost, spent, or damaged over the years. The ones that survive today in original condition are survivors against the odds. They avoided cleaning, avoided circulation, avoided melting, and avoided neglect. That survival story is part of what collectors are paying for. The phrase, "don't spend it," exists for a reason. Spending a potentially rare 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar without understanding it is like selling a painting without knowing the artist. Once it's gone forever. The coin market rewards patience, knowledge, and respect for history. Even if your coin looks dark, scratched, or old, that does not mean it is worthless. In many cases, it means the opposite. Every serious collector knows that fortunes are not made overnight by luck alone, but by recognizing value before others do. The 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar is exactly the kind of coin that hides opportunity in plain sight. It does not scream wealth. It whispers it. And only those who listen closely, who study carefully, and who refuse to underestimate small things ever truly hear it. In the end, this coin is more than metal. It is memory, history, error, survival, and potential wrapped into one circular object. Whether it is worth a few dollars or a life-changing amount depends on details most people never notice. That is why the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most fascinating, misunderstood, and powerful coins in American numismatic history. If you have one, treat it with respect, protect it, and never assume its value until the right expert tells you its true story. Next up. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is one of those coins that almost nobody talks about, and that silence is exactly what makes it dangerous to ignore. This coin came from a time when the half-dollar was quietly disappearing from everyday life, no longer commonly used, no longer respected as real money by the public. People stopped paying attention to it, and when attention disappears, history begins to hide value in plain sight. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar was born into that moment of neglect, and that neglect is part of why certain examples today carry shocking potential. By 1979, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become a symbol more than a tool. It was no longer circulating heavily like it did in the 1960s. Many Americans didn't even recognize it when they saw one. Some thought it was foreign, others thought it was old, and many simply put it aside. This change in behavior meant fewer coins were handled, fewer were worn down naturally, and fewer were understood. Coins struck in this period survived in unusual ways, creating pockets of rarity that only collectors truly understand today. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar carries no silver for circulation issues, and that fact often causes people to instantly dismiss it. That is the first and biggest mistake. Value is not controlled by silver alone. Value is controlled by condition, rarity, survival, and error. A coin does not need precious metal to become precious. In fact, many of the most valuable modern coins owe their worth to mistakes, timing, and scarcity rather than metal content. The absence of a mint mark on many 1979 Kennedy half-dollars tells a powerful story. Coins without a mint mark were struck in Philadelphia, at a time when the mint was transitioning technology and production priorities. During these years, quality control was not perfect, and subtle anomalies slipped through. Weak strikes, uneven details, planchet flaws, and die deterioration quietly created coins that should never have existed exactly the way they do. Condition plays a massive role in this story. A dirty, dark, naturally aged 1979 Kennedy half-dollar may look worthless to the untrained eye, but collectors often see something very different. Dirt alone does not ruin value. Artificial cleaning does. A coin that shows honest wear, natural toning, and untouched surfaces may carry far more credibility than a bright, polished coin that has lost its original skin. Originality is power in the coin world,
and many people destroy it without realizing what they've done.
What truly elevates certain 1979 Kennedy half dollars into a different league is the presence of mint errors. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, weak or missing edge reading, doubled elements, and improperly bonded clad layers are not legends. They are real outcomes of a high-speed minting process. When these errors survive and are authenticated, their value can multiply dramatically. One small mistake can separate an ordinary coin from a headline-making discovery. Another hidden category of importance lies in proof issues and special strikes from this era. While not all 1979 Kennedy half dollars were made equal, some were struck with exceptional care, stronger detail, and mirror-like surfaces. These coins were not meant for circulation, but some escaped their intended path. When proof or proof-like characteristics appear on a coin that should not have them, collectors pay attention, and markets respond aggressively. The historical timing of 1979 matters more than people realize. The United States was facing inflation fears, economic uncertainty, and a loss of trust in money itself. Coins were no longer seen as stores of value, and that attitude caused widespread neglect. Ironically, that neglect is what preserved certain coins in drawers, jars, and forgotten collections. Coins that were never cleaned, never spent, and never altered survived exactly as history left them. Many people believe that a coin must be shiny to be valuable. The opposite is often true. Dark toning, uneven coloration, and age spots can indicate decades of untouched storage. These features act like fingerprints of time. When professionals examine such coins, they look beyond surface appearance and search for signs of originality, strike quality, and mint behavior. This is where unexpected high values are born. The idea of overnight fortune is powerful, and while not every 1979 Kennedy half dollar will change a life, dismissing one without knowledge is a serious risk. Coins with rare errors or exceptional preservation have sold for astonishing prices relative to their face value. What separates winners from losers is not luck, but awareness. The people who find value are the ones who pause instead of spending. The tragedy of the 1979 Kennedy half dollar is how many were casually spent, damaged, or destroyed simply because they weren't silver. That single assumption erased countless opportunities. Yet some still remain, quietly waiting in collections, boxes, and inherited belongings. Each surviving coin is a question mark, not an answer, until it is properly examined. This coin also carries emotional weight. The Kennedy design still represents loss, hope, and American identity. That symbolism adds intangible value that collectors respond to. Coins are not just metal. They are time capsules. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar reflects an America in transition, uncertain of its future, quietly letting go of its past. In the end, the 1979 Kennedy half dollar teaches a powerful lesson. Never judge a coin by its face value. Never assume history has nothing left to give. And never rush to spend something you do not fully understand. Some fortunes are not loud. Some are silent. And some are hiding in the most ordinary places, waiting for the one person who knows how to listen. Next up. The 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar is one of the most misunderstood coins in American history, and misunderstanding is exactly where hidden value is born. This coin arrived quietly, without celebration, during a time when Americans were losing interest in half dollars altogether. By 1973, the Kennedy half dollar was no longer something people carried with pride. It was something people ignored, forgot, or pushed aside, and history shows that neglect is often the birthplace of rarity. When the Denver Mint struck the 1973 half dollar, the country was changing fast. Inflation was rising, trust in money was weakening, and everyday Americans were slowly drifting away from coins as meaningful objects. The half dollar, once a powerful piece of daily commerce, was becoming invisible. That invisibility created a strange situation where coins were still being made, but no longer truly used. Many 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars went straight from mint bags into storage, vaults, or collections without ever seeing real circulation. The D mint mark on this coin is more than a letter. It represents a specific production environment, a specific set of machines, and a specific moment in mint history. Denver was striking coins at high speed, prioritizing quantity over perfection. In that rush, subtle imperfections were born. Slight misalignments, weak strikes, unusual surface textures, and die fatigue quietly slipped through the system. These are not obvious mistakes to the average eye, But collectors know that value often lives in details you must slow down to see. One of the biggest myths surrounding the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is that it has no chance of being valuable because it is not silver in normal circulation. That belief has caused countless people to spend, trade, or damage coins that deserved closer attention.
Metal alone does not create value.
Rarity, condition, survival rate, and errors create value. Some of the most expensive modern coins in existence contain no precious metal at all, yet sell for prices that shock even seasoned collectors. Condition is where the story becomes dangerous. A dirty, dark, or unattractive 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar can actually be more desirable than a shiny one. Dirt does not automatically mean damage. Natural toning, storage marks, and honest aging can preserve a coin's originality. Cleaning, polishing, or scrubbing destroys that originality forever. Many people unknowingly erase thousands of dollars in potential value simply by trying to make a coin look better. The edge of the coin, the strength of Kennedy's hair detail, the sharpness of the lettering, and the texture of the fields all tell a story. Some 1973 D halves were struck with unusual sharpness, others with softness that reveals die wear or improper pressure. These differences matter deeply in the collector world. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance can become extraordinary under magnification. Another layer of mystery comes from error coins. During the early 1970s, quality control was far from perfect. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, weak reading, bonded clad issues, and doubling in design elements all exist from this era. When these errors appear on a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, value can multiply rapidly. These are not fantasy coins. They are real results of real minting conditions, and collectors pay serious money for authenticated examples. The year 1973 itself adds historical weight.
America was caught between eras, no longer living in the optimism of the early Kennedy years, but not yet stabilized in its economic future.
The half-dollar carried a portrait of hope at a time when confidence was fragile. That emotional contradiction gives the coin cultural importance beyond its face value. Coins are reflections of their time, and 1973 was a year filled with uncertainty. Many 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollars never entered circulation at all. They sat untouched for decades, preserved by accident rather than intention. These coins can still exist today in drawers, boxes, and inherited collections, often dismissed as just clad. When such coins surface in high grade, untouched and original, collectors pay attention. Survival in pristine condition is far rarer than most people imagine. There is also a psychological trap that destroys opportunity. When people hear common coin, they stop looking. They stop questioning. They stop examining. That mindset is exactly why rare varieties stay hidden for years. The coin does not announce its value. It waits for someone patient enough to study it instead of spending it. Stories of extreme value are not created by magic. They are created when a rare condition, an unusual error, or an exceptional strike meets the right collector at the right moment. Auction rooms are full of coins that once sat unnoticed for decades. The difference between a spent coin and a life-changing one is often a few seconds of curiosity. The most tragic part of the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar story is how many were destroyed by cleaning. People tried to make them shine, believing shine equals value. In reality, originality equals trust, and trust equals money. A naturally aged coin tells the truth of its journey. A cleaned coin tells nothing. This coin teaches a lesson that goes beyond collecting. Never rush to discard something you don't fully understand. Never assume value must be obvious. And never believe that history has already given all it has to offer. Some fortunes are loud, but the most dangerous ones are quiet. If you ever hold a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, pause before you spend it. Look at it, study it, respect it. Because while most will remain ordinary, a few carry stories and values that can shock the world. Next up,